Hi, I'm Roberto Martinez and you're watching Toffee TV.
Welcome to Toffee TV as we look forward to Everton's trip to Southampton this Saturday. Gents, what are we thoughts on this one? It's a difficult place to go. Southampton over the last couple of years have suddenly become a very tough prospect, obviously finishing last season in 7th place. Lots of ins and outs at the club, but they seem to do it really, really well without upsetting the balance of the team too much.
Yeah, and I think they've, even though they've lost some key players this summer, Schneiderlin and Klein, I think they've made some decent acquisitions. I think the fullback, Schwarz, is a good attacking player. I think Jordi Classy, even though he's a different type of player to Schneiderlin, he's a good technical midfielder. He passes it well, he looks forward and he's incisive. And then you look at the players that they had last season, the likes of Tadic, Mane, Pala, they're all going to be a little bit better this time. They're going to be a little more used to the Premier League. And I think Everton have got quite a poor record there in recent seasons. They've since they came up, I think the game against Pochettino in his first game, we drew 0-0, lost 2-0 in Martinez's first season, and lost 3-0 last season in that infamous game when we didn't make any substitutions. So we haven't scored a goal there in three seasons. So it's going to be a tough game. They're going to be up for it, the first home game of the season. They've got some new players, so the atmosphere is going to be good, unlike it was for us on Saturday. So I'm expecting a really tough game.
I think it'll be a really tough trip. I think they've sold well, but bought very well as well. Jordi Classy and people like that, as you said. And they've always got a threat. Shane Long, Mane, Pella, I think. Yeah,
Tadic as well. They've got Jay Rodriguez back.
Yeah,
I think there are areas we can definitely get at them though. I mean, if you look at Schneiderlin, I thought he was an immense player for them last season. He's one of the best holding midfielders in the Premier League. I'd probably say the best after Nemanja Matic. And I think if you take him out of the team, Klein, who was a really good defender on the right hand side, and they've got no Alderweireld either at centre back. So there's 3 key defensive components there which have been taken out of the team. In fact, the goalkeeper as well, Fraser Forster, he's out injured, and they've got Martin Stecklenburg in goal, who's never really convinced me, to be honest. So there's 4 key components of that side that was so good defensively last season that are going to be out the team on Saturday. So if our attacking play is a little bit better, there are areas there we can definitely get at them.
And they seem to have one eye on the Europa League as well. I think they've got the first round qualifier on the Thursday afterwards, and they're taking it very, very serious by the sounds of it. So maybe there'll be thoughts on that as well, trying to get through into Europe. You know, once you get into that group stage, and it looks after itself. So maybe the focus might be taken off. And as you're saying, with all these new players, you just hope that maybe they haven't settled quite down yet. And obviously we've got very much the same side as we did last season and the season before. So maybe it is a good chance to go and upset, to get an upset, because that's the worst thing, isn't it? If we went down there and won, it would actually be seen as an upset.
Yeah.
Which is
I think Everton need to go there and dictate. I think there's a lot of focus put on what they've done in the summer, and I know we've not done much, if anything. But I think Everton should be going to Southampton, places like Southampton, and dictating games and winning games. And I think we should have the confidence to go and do that on Saturday, to be fair.
I disagree with that to a little bit of an extent. I think they are going to have the bulk of possession on Saturday, and it wouldn't surprise me if we did sit deep and counter-attack, given the fact that there's no PNR. Delafeu might not be fit, so there's 2 key creative outlets there that aren't going to be playing. So I think if we go there and we play that 4-1-4-1 system, which we played at times last season against Palace, against United at home, and we sit deep and we try and hit them on the break when they come forward, with the likes of Barkley coming from deeper, Lukaku probably get a lot more space to isolate, to run at defenders, because they're going to be pushing forward against us. So I'd like to see us go there, be happy to say, right, come and break us down, and we will break through the players we've got who are suited to playing on the counter-attack.
Playing on the counter-attack does actually suit us as a team, doesn't it? You know, and with like Coleman on one side, you know, and there is pace in the side when we're breaking, so maybe that might actually suit us if we can do it well.
I think a lot of it comes down to what he selects as his team as well. What does he go there and set up with? We talked previous on about the way we set up second half against Watford, and how we looked so much better when Kone came on. We had the threat of Oviedo one side, Coleman the other, but then probably going to revert back to type when we go there and set up on Saturday with a bank of 5 and Rom up front on his own.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing though in this game. I think you spoke before about the need to be adaptable, and against someone like Watford at home, you said we don't really need a Gareth Barry type player, and I wouldn't necessarily say this is the right game for him on Saturday, even though I'm convinced he will play. because it's going to be high octane. They press high. They're very snappy in midfield. They've got a lot of energy in the team. But you need to be adaptable sometimes, and you look at the situation. They've brought in some good players. The fans are going to be buzzing. They're a good team, and sometimes you've got to say, right, we can sit back a little bit, soak up some pressure, and then hit them on the break. So I wouldn't mind us going there, do that, as long as we do it well and we're solid and we're compact.
Do you think, I mean, just going back to what we said before about Southampton and the way they do things, wheeling and dealing, do you think that's a philosophy maybe Everton are going to have to start adapting? I mean, obviously, the whole John Stones thing's going, you know, the circus beyond that, and none of us want to sell up an up-and-coming player, but do you think you have to look at it like they do and say, well, if you sell one player, you can bring in 3 or 4, and if you sell a couple of players, you can bring in a new team effectively, because that's what they seem to do very, very well. They seem to have a really good scouting network. They seem to be able to go out and buy good European talent at low prices and then sell off, you know, maybe a player every couple of years and keep it going, keep it rolling. Whereas we just don't seem to have that mentality. Our mentality is like, if we sell someone, it's the end of the world. It's, you know, whereas they seem to do it the other way. Selling and buying are very much, you know, part of the same thing.
My only worry personally is they sell from big money but then reinvest money, whereas I think Stones did go. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of that money be put back. I might be wrong, but I just don't know how much.
So is it more of a trust thing then with Everton fans thinking that, you know, where's the Arteta money? You know, it's like, that's the problem, isn't it? You know, if there's always that mistrust that the money will just go missing if Everton were to sell a player in the summer.
I think you've got to do it the right way, haven't you? If we sold John Stones now, and there's 2 weeks to go in the transfer deadline day and in the transfer window, and we've got one senior centre back, and we're scrapping around to try and bring players in, and we're making panic buys, that's not good. Whereas if we said to Chelsea at the start of the summer, pay 40 million for him, we'll go and get our players in, and then we'll let him go. Like Southampton have done this summer, I don't think anyone expected the likes of Klein and Schneiderlin to stay at the club, and I think the likes of Liverpool did the same with Sterling. They got all the players in first, and then they let him go. I think that's definitely the way to do it if you are going to do that sort of philosophy.
Quite rightly as well, we'll see if Everton do sell Stones for a big fee. Everton have got money.
Yeah.
So that £8 million centre back is now worth £15 million.
Yeah. And again, that goes back to what you're saying about someone like Sterling. You bring your players in before you sell that one big player. You know he's going to go, so you buy players in on the basis that he's going to go. It's almost just, it's the security bond, isn't it, more than anything else? And it's once you've got that money in your pocket, everyone knows it's there, and the price is automatically going up. And then if you're after 3, then there's a desperation going around. I
mean, I don't think anyone thinks John Stones is going to stay at Everton for his career. I think there's a reluctant acceptance there that he is going to go eventually, and it's selling a player like that shouldn't be seen as a sign of weakness, in my opinion, because every team in Europe has to deal with that, unless you're Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich. So it's just about doing it the right way. And when you've got a young defender who's only going to get better, he's got a 4-year contract, you can't be dictated to by anyone, even a team like Chelsea.
I just don't want Everton do it on their own terms.
Yeah.
We're not bullied by Mourinho and Chelsea to sell at a price that we don't want to sell at.
That's basically my thoughts on it, is that, you know, if you're going to sell, you've got to sell at the beginning of the summer and already have your targets established and go and do. If you sell now, you just... well, we've seen what happened before. You end up with the likes of Billy and Letanoff and John Heitinger, players you might necessarily want, but you're going to end up with. Just very quickly, I mean, talking about transfers, I mean, Shaqiri, looks like we were after him, looks like Stoke have got him, and it's going to create mass panic,
the fume.
Cats and dogs getting married, anarchy in the streets.
Well, I mean, I think he would have been a good player for us, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. I think people will look at it and they'll say Stoke have beaten us to a player, and that will get a lot of people worried. But if we were offering him a loan, they wanted to buy him on a permanent deal, then, you know, they're showing a lot more faith in him, and you can see why he would have gone there instead of us.
Yeah, I just think touching on the Stoke issue in terms of it does look to a lot of people that Everton have gone in with a deal that isn't as good as Stoke's, and why are we offering a loan and not a permanent? And are we able to compete even with people like Stoke City in a transfer window? And that's what's getting a lot of people worried in my eyes. I think in terms of Shaqiri, I don't know, smacks me a bit of Van der Meyda 2015 in a way, in terms of he's been bombed out wherever he's been. The lad's got talent, but is he an Everton player? I don't know.
We'll wait and see. That'll be answered when if he does play for Stoke and what happens.
He inevitably scores against us.
Yeah, he'll never only score one goal and it'll be against us. Quick predictions for the game, Matt?
I'm going to say 2-2 again.
He's gone there.
Yeah, gone there.
Healthy point.
I'm going to say 1-1 draw.
I don't even want to say what I really think. No, I think we can catch them. I think we can catch them cold, and I think we're going to have to throw something at them. So sneaky 2-1 win for Everton, maybe. Yeah, go on, throw it in there. Go on, let's talk nonsense. Right, tell us what you think. What's going to be the score? Who would you like to start? Comments below on YouTube. Make sure to catch us on Twitter as well. It's at ToffeeTV1. Make sure to subscribe in the button there, and we'll be back soon on Toffee TV.